Spring is here, and the deals are hotter than ever at Shack Shop. Turn heads with stunning bikinis, now on sale. Explore the deep with cutting-edge underwater drones. Gear up for adventure with durable tents for every trip. Ride into spring with unbeatable deals on bikes. Fresh styles, women's fashion, and must-have looks, all discounted. Don't miss the Shack Shop Spring Fling Sale. These prices won't last. Shop now and make this spring unforgettable, only at Shack Shop.
New court filings in Los Angeles have revealed deeply troubling allegations in a criminal case involving singer D4vd, whose legal name is David. Prosecutors are outlining a case that they say involves premeditation, manipulation, and an extended effort to conceal evidence in connection with the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The 21-year-old artist was pleaded not guilty to multiple felony charges, including first-degree murder, sexual offenses involving a minor under 14, and the mutilation of human remains. Despite the plea, documents submitted by the prosecution describe what they believe to be a calculated sequence of events that began months, if not years, before the teen's death. According to investigators, Burke was the last known person driving the Tesla in which Celeste Rivas was discovered in September 2025. Surveillance footage allegedly places him in control of the vehicle as late as July 29th, shortly before he left Los Angeles to begin a tour. Prosecutors claim that after the teen's death, Burke began acquiring items that would later become central to the investigation. These purchases reportedly included chainsaws, a body bag, and a plastic inflatable pool, all ordered online under a false identity and delivered to his residence in Hollywood Hills. Forensic investigators later recovered fragments of blue plastic embedded in the victim's remains, which they say matched the material from the inflatable pool. Evidence and alleged cover-up. Authorities believe that the defendant made multiple trips to a remote area in Santa Barbara County in the weeks following the incident. These trips, including one on the night of the alleged murder, are considered significant by prosecutors, who argue they demonstrate an attempt to dispose of evidence. Months later, a transportation worker discovered Celeste's passport card discarded off a state route in that same region, an item prosecutors say ties directly back to those visits. Inside Burke's home, investigators reportedly found biological evidence in the garage, consistent with dismemberment. Laboratory testing confirmed the presence of blood matching the victim's DNA. The inflatable pool, also recovered from the property, allegedly contained visible cuts and damage consistent with the prosecution's theory. Digital evidence and data volume. One of the most complex aspects of the case is the sheer volume of digital material recovered. Prosecutors say more than 40 terabytes of data were seized from various devices, including phones, computers, and cloud storage accounts. Among the findings, authorities claim there is a significant amount of illicit material involving minors. Could play a major role in establishing patterns of behavior and intent, though it may also slow the legal process due to the time required to review it. The relationship. Court filings indicate that Burke and Celeste first came into contact in early 2022, when she was just 11 years old. Prosecutors allege that communication continued over time and eventually developed into a sexual relationship when she was 13. Despite being contacted by law enforcement in early 2024 and informed of her age, prosecutors say Burke continued pursuing the teen. When her parents attempted to cut off communication by taking her phone, he allegedly arranged for another device to be delivered to her through a third party. Messages recovered during the investigation reportedly include references to sexual activity, pregnancy concerns, and emotional conflict. In one message cited by prosecutors, the teen expressed dissatisfaction with the nature of their relationship, saying she wanted more than what it had become. The night in question. Investigators believe the events leading to Celeste's death began with an argument between the two on April 22nd. Text messages reportedly show escalating tension, including threats from the teen to reveal details of their relationship. At the time, Burke was preparing for a major album release and had several lucrative business deals pending. Prosecutors argue that this context may have provided a motive. On April 23rd, Burke allegedly arranged transportation for Celeste to travel from her home to his residence. Digital records indicate she arrived that evening. Prosecutors claim that shortly afterward, she was killed. They further allege that Burke continued sending messages to her phone after her death in an effort to create the appearance that she was still alive, an action they describe as part of a deliberate attempt to establish a future defense. Actions after the incident. Following the alleged killing, Burke reportedly left his home late that night and drove north. Authorities believe he was already taking steps to dispose of evidence. In the weeks that followed, he allegedly made additional purchases aimed at further concealing the crime, including tools and materials consistent with dismemberment and disposal. Prosecutors also claim he researched or acquired equipment intended to destroy physical evidence entirely. The victims' remains were ultimately placed inside the front trunk of the Tesla, where they remained undiscovered for an extended period. Legal outlook. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for May 26th, where a judge will determine whether there is sufficient evidence for the case to proceed to trial. During that hearing, prosecutors are expected to present key physical and digital evidence. Legal analysts suggest that the defense may attempt to argue an alternative explanation for the teen's death, potentially focusing on accidental causes and disputing intent. However, the prosecution's case appears to rely heavily on the sequence of actions taken after the incident, which they argue indicates planning and awareness. Public reaction. Los Angeles Police Chief Jim McDonnell addressed the case publicly, emphasizing its seriousness and urging the public not to treat it as entertainment. He described it as a deeply tragic situation involving a young victim and said investigators are focused on ensuring that all evidence is preserved for court. The case has drawn widespread attention not only because of its disturbing nature, but also due to Burke's public profile as a rising artist. As legal proceedings continue, it is expected to remain a closely watched and highly complex case.